So this is our brand new state-of-the-art hospital.
It's our $1.2 billion building.
The whole image of it is amazing. The size of it, I can't quite comprehend until I stand in it.
Depending on who you talk to, Perth's new children's hospital will either be the perfect replacement for the ageing Princess Margaret Hospital.
It is really a state-of-the-art construction, design and plan, so we're extremely proud of it.
Or an expensive disaster that won't be big enough.
It seems they're building for today rather than tomorrow.
Princess Margaret opened in 1909, a dedicated children's hospital with 20 beds. 105 years later, with 250 beds, it simply isn't big enough for our growing city.
The site's constrained, the buildings are very old and the facilities are run down.
Tonight, your first look inside the massive construction project right next door to Sir Charles Gardner Hospital and previously unseen images of the finished product.
Much more space, much more open areas within it for the children to go.
Health Minister Kim Hames has copped a barrage of criticism over the number of beds in the new hospital.
My concerns with the hospital is that it's going to be at capacity the day that it opens.
Richard Caldo's youngest son, Archie, was diagnosed with aggressive stage 4 neuroblastoma, cancer. The family was forced to travel to Sydney when WA's only paediatric radiation oncologist was on leave. The Caldos say the cancer facilities at the new hospital won't be much better.
There is literally the same number of beds in the new hospital for the oncology ward than there is in the existing hospital.
I've said over and over again that's not the case, that the numbers are wrong, that the capacity is there. And I don't know how many different ways I can say that to get that message across.
The Minister says the new hospital will have 298 beds, 48 more than PMH. It boasts stunning views to the city. Some rooms will look out over Kings Park, and the design has won praise.
If you drive past the outside, you see some of the public art that also provides shade. You see the design of it that I think is very exciting.
I don't think we want to be winning awards for architectural masterpieces in relation to children's hospitals. You want it to be there to help save children's lives and to provide the service to the children of Western Australia.
This is the basement of the 8-storey building. We're told it's strong enough to survive a 1 in 500-year earthquake. And crucially, with the existing foundations, another 4 stories could be added. But not yet.
Well, it's an additional $100 million to do that. And the demand is just not there.
For the sake of future-proofing our major children's hospital in Perth, it needs a couple of extra floors because the cheapest time to do it is right now.
When you could build a 1,000-bed hospital and say, oh, well, you're building for the future. The reality is you build the size of the hospital that studies show is the right size.
It's a sea of hard hats with more than 800 workers on site each day. There are 5 tower cranes operating from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. The hospital is now 85% structurally complete. The figures are staggering. Already 77,000 cubic metres of concrete has been poured and a total of 2.9 million hours have been worked on this site.
I think there's been a really successful input of our staff to the new design and most importantly as well of patients and families.
Dr Jervis Cheney is the state's head of paediatric medicine.
No, we don't get absolutely everything we want. That's just the reality. But in fact, are we getting what we need? And more than that, yes.
The new hospital will have a huge atrium in its centre. A helipad on the roof will be one of the biggest in the Southern Hemisphere. The emergency department will be almost twice as big as PMH, and 75% of the rooms will be private, single rooms, up from just 26% currently.
We're going to have the capacity to put through many, many more patients in a much more comfortable and friendly and a better healing environment.
Back to that issue of beds, and the government's own modelling shows that the hospital will run out of room just 5 years after opening. But Minister Hames says that won't happen because paediatric services will be boosted at suburban hospitals.
Part of a hospital that's a tertiary hospital is people who need to rush their children to this hospital, but we've also got to provide the capacity for children who are near Joondalup Hospital or south of the river near Fiona Stanley Hospital to take children that are injured either not that severely or immediately to get urgent care to somewhere much more local.
When you're talking about paediatric oncology in WA, there is only one place to go, and that is the new hospital. You don't have any alternatives.
It is the staff that make a hospital, and that's what's just so important to us.
The Viney family has also spent more time at Princess Margaret than most. Little Caelan was born at 26 weeks, spent his first 99 days in hospital and has cerebral palsy. No one likes spending time in hospital, but 6-year-old Caelan is pretty excited about the big, shiny new one.
And I bet it will have more toys than this one.
It's just going to be, I reckon, some of the best care in Australia.
When this hospital is opened, when the other things that we've done are completed, that there will be capacity and this hospital won't be overrun.
I think the facility is going to be very exciting, and we've got a lot of work to prepare to move in the next year and a half to get ready to move in.